Okay, now let's talk about the gear we need to shoot our flower portraits. The essentials you need are quite limited, making flower photography relatively inexpensive. To start, all you need is a camera combined with a macro lens or a regular lens adapted to macro by using one or more extension tubes. That's all. For my flower photography, I don't choose a tripod, I shoot handheld. Additional gear like a diffuser and reflector will be discussed later on in a specific chapter. So, first of all, the camera. I shoot with a Canon 5D Mark III, but actually any digital DSLR or mirrorless camera will do fine. As long as you can set your camera in full manual mode or aperture priority mode. Smaller compact cameras are less suitable as their small sensors aren't capable to capture the shallow depth images we want. We want to blur the background so all attention is drawn to our subject. Okay, then the lenses. Obviously, a macro lens will be best suited for macro or close-up photography. Macro lenses allow to focus from a smaller distance than regular lenses. They are also a little bit more expensive than regular ones. The lens I mainly use for macro or close-up photography is a Canon 100mm 2.8 macro lens with image stabilization. It's an amazing lens to use, and right now it's the only real macro lens I own. But it's not the only lens I use for my flower portraits. If you don't own a macro lens, you don't have to buy an expensive lens to start macro or close-up photography. Extension tubes are a really good alternative. They are hollow and there's no glass in them. They go in between the camera and the lens. They extend the lens away from the camera, allowing to move in closer to your subject and get a bigger magnification. So they can turn a regular lens into a macro or close-up lens. Or they can turn a macro lens into an extreme macro lens. I often use one or more extension tubes combined with my 70 to 200mm lens or with my 50mm lens to shoot close-ups. I also use them combined with my macro lens to get an even bigger magnification. The tubes I use are from Canon. I have two different sizes, a 12mm and a 25mm tube. And if I combine them, I'll have a 37mm tube. Third-party brands tend to be cheaper and are just as good to do the job. Mostly they are sold in a set of 3 tubes. The price will be between $100 to $150 or euro for a set. Extension tubes are a really good, cheap alternative to create your macro pictures. Now a little bit more about the lenses. The faster your lens, the better. We want a nice, soft out-of-focus background. And this is best achieved with a fast lens. The lenses I use are f2.8. Slower lenses like f3.5 or even f4.5 are still possible. If you don't own a fast lens, a 50mm f1.4 or f1.8 lens combined with an extension tube can be a good option to start with. These lenses are really cheap and top quality and will generate a wonderful background bokeh. Okay, remember that you don't need expensive equipment or the latest camera to create beautiful, dreamy flower portraits. All you need is a simple camera, a macro lens and the right camera techniques. These techniques are easy to learn and are the core of my Master Art Photography Masterclass. If you want to learn more about these techniques, subscribe now to my newsletter and receive a series of emails full of macro photography tips and discount codes on the Flower Art Photography Masterclass and the Multiple Exposure Macro Photography Masterclass.